It's 6:30 in the morning. The mist from the Mwegaro Hills rolls down here in Samunge, Loliondo. But down below, an air of quiet expectation hangs here this early morning. The night before, Ambilikile Mwasapila's medicine ran out. But today, Ambilikile's helpers seem up to the task. Despite the fact that overnight, the 7-kilometer stretch of traffic to this place grew to 12 kilometers. Out of the paltry 500 Tanzanian shillings that is paid for the supposed cure, 200 shillings or 10 Kenyan shillings goes to the Lutheran Church, another 200 shillings goes to paying Babu's workers, and 100 or 5 Kenyan shillings goes to the man himself. It is claimed that Ambilikile spends the amount on supplies needed to prepare this concoction. This small mud-walled house is Ambilikile's home, not the palatial mansion that many would have expected of a man so famous here. It's approaching 7 o'clock and Ambilikile Mwasapile emerges. Immediately you can see how highly regarded and well protected he is. Security officers from the Tanzanian government's paramilitary unit, the Field Force Unit, guard him. We've been asked to try and catch him before he begins working, but there are too many people to serve today, so we miss that opportunity. As he approaches the crowd, we're told that the chance to talk to Ambilikile will present itself again, albeit not in the manner that we had expected. Every morning, before he begins doling out his medicine, he addresses the crowd that gathers in front of him. Here, he retells a story about how he came about the medicine first.
Siku ile Mungu akinikabidhi dawa, sikumwona mtu wa tatu pale. Nilikuwa ni mimi na huyu aliyenipa dawa. Basi ndio hayo Mungu ambayo ameyawekea neno lake ndani ya mti ili watu wanywe wapate kupona.
Then what a treat!
Magonjwa hayo ni ukimwi, ni kansa, kisukari, pumu na kifafa. Magonjwa haya hayana dawa kwa kawaida. HIV kama mnavyofahamu. Ameniambia utachemsha dawa, utampa mtu kikombe kimoja, atakunywa. Baada ya siku 7 atakuwa amepona. Atakuwa amepona kabisa ugonjwa wake, hatakuwa tena mwathirika.
On HIV, Ambilikile claims that after the 7 days, a further 3 to 4 weeks may be needed before the virus clears out of one's system and the person tests negative. Then, how it works?
Kikombe ni kimoja kile kile. Utakunywa, utapona, kansa itakuisha. Hii ni mti, bali neno la Mungu ameliweka ndani ya mti, ndilo linaloponya. Kwa hiyo unapokunywa dawa ukipona, mtazame Mungu wala usimtazame mwanadamu.
Then he does something unexpected. He asks the crowd to question him about his medicine.
Nani ana swali?
Waweza kufungua njia za uzazi.
Wewe unapokunywa dawa, mwambie Mungu, shughulika na maisha yangu, nahitaji mtoto. Mwambie Mungu, tena anajua, si kwamba hajui.
We ask our own. First, whether this medicine can be served by anybody else and why he chose this most remote of places to do so.
Mungu amepachagua mahali hapa. Ameniambia watu watatoka Ulaya, watatoka Asia, watatoka Amerika, watatoka Afrika, yote watakuja hapa. Ni hapa. Maana yake hata nikikupa dawa hapa, hutakwenda nayo nje ya eneo hili, itakuwa imeharibika.
Then, whether it can prevent one from falling sick ever, as many tend to believe.
Unauma kichwa, meza Panadol. Unauma tumbo, meza dawa za tumbo. Unauma malaria, nenda hospitali. Tujaandika bango mahali.
Ambilikile then leads the crowd in prayer.
Ni uponyaji wako ndio umekuwa bango. Ninaomba Bwana, endelea kutenda maajabu.
And before long, begins his work. As he works, we ask him what is inside this concoction.
Mti mmoja wala sio miwili, na hakuna tulichoweka, ni mizizi tu.
What is inside this drink is chips from the root of a tree called mgamriaga. In English, these roots are from the poison arrow tree, scientific name Antharius toxicana, among the most poisonous plants in the world. The irony in its use here in Loliondo cannot be overstated. The plant has been taken to Dar es Salaam for testing by the Tanzanian Ministry of Health, but according to Dr. Richard Olenkapi, all they will do is confirm the same thing, because there is one other ingredient that is crucial to the working of this concoction.
Ni dawa na imani, sio dawa tu, dawa na neno la Mungu ndani, kwamba Mungu alisema naye. Tukaona mtu aliyepewa kwa mara ya kwanza amepona, ndipo tukaamini kwamba hii ni dawa.
Richard himself is a walking testimonial to the drink's alleged capabilities.
Ndipo tembelea Ujerumani kaambiwa ninaumwa kisukari ambayo tunaita diabetic mellitus. Lakini nilipokunywa dawa ya mchungaji sasa hivi inasoma 4.5 millimol per deciliter, kitu ambacho sio kawaida. Nilikuwa nasoma mpaka 12 up to 15.
At the front of the line is this old lady. She cannot speak and is too weak to support herself. Her children suspect that she has lung cancer. She's 82 years old. She takes the medicine, and after a few hours we find her at her tent.
Anasema anavyoona yeye inatibu yale magonjwa ya makuu ya zamani.
Such are the testimonies that have grown this line even further, bringing people from far and wide.
I was sick for 2 years and fatigueness, so chronically tired.
Only one. Okay.
Despite the prior beliefs in modern medicine. Among the now over 800 cars here is one that would be more in place plying the Nairobi-Nyeri route. In it are 7 hopeful ladies and gentlemen from Kenya, among the relatively few Kenyans who have heard about this drink so far.
Nimeamini kwa sababu ule kwanza mama mmoja alikuwa amekuja, alikuwa na mtoto wake alikuwa anaanguka kama kifafa. Na kutoka wakuje huku na alikuwa kila jioni lazima ameze tembe ya dawa akilala. Na sasa kutoka akuje huku, kutoka akatu hajaimeza na mpaka leo na haangukagi.
One challenge that even Babu cannot cope with is the constant flow of people who make it here through varied means. Standing at the foot of the Mwigaro Hills, one gets an even clearer perspective of just how many people have put their faith in Ambilikile Mwasipile or Babu and the drink that he's offering them. A multitude of human and vehicular traffic stretching back further than my eyes can see, about 15 kilometers all the way to his doorstep for just one drink. Now, feeding and housing such a multitude takes quite a bit of skill and willpower, something that Tanzanian businessmen seem up to the task of doing. From tents to tires to water, Samunge has become a circus of sorts, full of vendors pining to profit from the pockets of the hopeful here. All the while having drunk from these people's proverbial cup of life as well. Transport to Loliondo as well has become quite the business.
Hii ni safari ya 9. Sisi tunatoa kama huduma katika makampuni ya utalii. Kila kampuni imetoa gari 5 kutoa huduma kusaidia wagonjwa. Sisi sababu kama sasa hivi ni low season, kwa hiyo hatuna kazi nyingi.
A seat in one of these Land Cruisers costs up to 120,000 Tanzanian shillings or 6,000 Kenyan shillings. That is 240 times the amount of money it costs to get 1 cup of Ambilikile's concoction. Nonetheless, people here look at it as a savings in medical bills. St. Thomas Hospital at the center of Arusha used to serve very many people. Now lines around the hospital have disappeared. Dr. Julius Mbuya denies that this has ever happened, but acknowledges that many a patient of his have been to see Babu instead.
Some of the patients who were not treated by me just came here and they told me, "Doctor, I'm diabetic. I need to check my blood sugar status." And when the blood sugar results come, they're quite high. They kind of get a shock because it is something they never expected. They were expecting to be told your blood sugar is normal. I'm talking about the patients who I've seen. So if the blood sugar is high, I tell them, your blood sugar is high. Have you been to Loliondo? Some would admit, yes, I've been there.
In the multitude, we're told many are HIV positive, all hopeful that they will get cured. After all, Ambilikila's first patient was allegedly HIV positive.
Naposema na evidence kama daktari na mtu ambaye alikuwa amepata HIV AIDS na mume wake amefariki na yeye ameanza ARV, lakini baada ya kupewa dawa ya mchungaji amepimwa ni negative.
But from what Dr. Mbuya has seen, this isn't true for people with AIDS or diabetes.
I have some HIV patients who are in the ward. They came back because they stopped taking the ARVs. They came back quite sick.
The government allegedly knows this as well. Arusha's regional medical officer, Dr. Salash Ture, a severe critic of Ambilikila's, however, says that despite a general concurrence by doctors in government that the medicine doesn't work,
they say it can cure all the chronic diseases. I don't believe on that at all.
it has to facilitate people going there for a number of reasons.
That belief has nothing to do with the government. That would be an individual belief.
And government presence is needed there. The rainy season has begun and hundreds are stranded under the skies. In fact, even from the safety of one's car, the rain could still be an impediment, as we found out.
As if the adventure of getting to Samunge wasn't hard enough, now we have to deal with this. And we're leaving. Downstream there's about maybe 500 cars, maybe you can see them over the ridge over there, that are going to be blocked off by this river that's been caused by the rains that have been here for the past 2 days.
Nonetheless, the cream of Tanzanian society, including politicians, are going to Samunge. With some allegedly taking their constituents there in order to gain popularity. As we leave, we begin to count the number of cars in a line waiting to see Ambilikile. There were nearly 2,000 cars parked on the road, with more still coming. Whether the government or critics like it or not, the pilgrimage to Loliondo is only getting bigger.
Now we're nearing the tail of this snake of humanity and traffic whose head is buried somewhere there close to those hills. And over the past 3 days, we've tried to explain to ourselves what is happening here. And we can't quite seem to get the perfect expression of what we've seen, because we don't know whether it's gullibility, we don't know whether it's blind faith, we don't know whether it's desperation even. But perhaps the one thing we haven't thought about in these past 3 days here in Samunge is the fact that maybe everyone needs a little hope. And that's why everyone has trooped here to get a cup of medicine from Babu. John Alanamu, NTV, Samunge, Loliondo, Northern Tanzania.